I had a viewer just a few weeks back question how to tell how many layers of a roof you've got. I've got a perfect opportunity to show that, so I'm sorry I give you a shout out, but I don't remember your name, so I'm gonna have to find it, and then I'll tag you, link you to it somehow, let you know, and give you a shout out. So this one is for you. Thank you for subscribing and watching. So I got called out to do an estimate of a house, and coming up here to look at this, you look at a roof, and always try near a bottom edge where my ladder is, just kind of peek under here. I don't know if the sun's blocking it and you can tell, but it right here might be a little better spot. So you can see under there, it looks like one layer. You got your apron, but the apron sticks out far for some reason. Well, my experience, I'm like, okay, well, let's see what's under that one. You have another hidden layer under here. See that sitting there? And then try to go up behind that just to verify that one does have 1-bys or something under it. So just be sure when you're trying to check for a layer count like that, don't always just lift up the one, be like, okay, we got one layer because there's the top of the edge metal. Lift that one up. You could have that hiding under others. I've actually come across some jobs that have had up to 14 layers of tear off. I'm talking about 8 inches thick of roofing. They're a nightmare to do. I've seen some just recently where you got 2 layers on decking. Well, and when you get into the job and you tear the decking off, they went over another 2 layer on shake. So always try to look, verify. If you're the homeowner, go in the attic and look up in an attic if you have attic access and see what the underneath surface is. If it looks weird, bunch of little slats and things, it's probably shake or slate. So just be aware you know what you're working with. But back to answer your question, how to tell if it's one layer or multiple layers. That's the easiest way I know. Fairly foolproof. Lift up the bottom edge, check it. Lift up under the edge mill. You want to try to get to where you can actually see, okay, without a shadow of a doubt, there is CDX, OSB, or 1-by, one of those, or whatever the substrate may be. Until you see it, that's the only way to be sure how many layers it is. On that note, with this house here, there's something weird. So there's 2 layers on the front here. Let me show you something. I just take samples on periodic little spots all the time. This roof back here definitely looks a lot newer or less faded. This is south facing side, so that could be one of the factors, that it's got more sun, dries off quicker, whereas this one could be faded. But I think the issue is, and I have 2 assumptions here on this. One, somebody who was a do-it-yourselfer tore this off, redid it because it's 1 layer, and was like, oh wow, that was a lot of work. We're not tearing off the front, and they roofed over the front. If you do that, it never lays flat. It's always going to be a little rough and bumpy. And on top of that, when you've got a 2nd layer or more, all that extra mass and material up here, yeah, it's a lot of extra weight on your roof, but it's also a lot of extra mass that is soaking up the heat from the sun and the elements. It's retaining a lot of heat throughout the night even. It takes a lot longer for this to dissipate the heat. That's going to degrade your shingles. Ventilation, there's various factors that affect the life of a roof. Do it right the first time, just tear it all down. You have a chance to inspect your sheets and make sure they're going to be in good shape to hold your nails down too. I kind of talk to people like, foundation of your home holds your whole home. The decking holds your roof on. If your decking's not in good enough shape to fasten the nails in and hold your shingles down, you risk them pulling out, blowing out. We're doing a job in Kokomo today right now, I'll wrap up later, where when I walked on the roof to look at a leak, you literally had to walk down the trusses, because if you put your foot in it, you would bust right through the sheet. It was that bad, 3/8 on 24-inch center. I'm like, man. And that was a fairly new roof. Somebody did that, I'm guessing, 3 to 5 years ago. Whole thing needs to come off. So do it right the first time. Might offend some people, but cheap is not good and good is not cheap. Putting the money into your roof to protect your home and everything in it and the health of you and your family, do it right the first time. Have a good one.